So I don't know what you do before you go to bed. I know what we do. We start thumbing through news stories, preparing for the broadcast in the morning. And of course, I get the usual list of suspects and titles, most of what I expected to read. And then my hand stopped. One headline. One that I don't know if you're aware of yet. One that will shock you as much as it shocked me. Because a lot of things have been called into question lately, a lot of administration decisions that a lot of us don't agree with. And then this one. Because Trump just did the unthinkable. It's a story I'll bring you in just 1 minute. And you think it has to do with the Epstein saga? Don't worry, I got a few updates for you on this also. Trump White House faces MAGA blowback after Epstein file revelation. Why is Ghislaine Maxwell still in prison? It's a great question, right? I mean, we were all wrong. What did Tucker Carlson just say the other day? Maybe he owes him an apology. Because, man, for all the rumors and all the hearsay, well, the White House just said, you're good, bud. There's nothing here. There's no one to charge. So Tucker Carlson said, man, I must owe Jeffrey Epstein an apology now. And Ghislaine Maxwell, we should let her out immediately. Because obviously we were all wrong, because the administration, the Department of Justice, and Pam Bondi have all said free and clear. But not really. Because again, you know I stay on facts and figures here, so I'm going to read you a few court documents. Active court documents, where they say the exact opposite of what they just announced to the American public. Before I get into Trump's decision of what he just did, one headline, one photo that will astound you. Still in shock myself. Before I get there, as we do every broadcast, I hope if you like what I'm doing here and you like the material, you love the content, you love coming here for the concise research news, that you'll subscribe to me. Those of you who have joined as members, thank you so much. If you haven't, it's a button just below. It truly keeps the lights and cameras on. And those of you who provide super thanks, it is such a good thing to see throughout the day. You know you did something right. It's an appreciation you show me, and in return, I invest back into the platform. Also, I'm blessed to have a few people who've stepped up and asked, we like what you're doing. Is there any way we can help you? And one of those people is one of my newest sponsors now, which is called Chapter. Do you know how many of my subscribers have already saved thousands by making one free phone call to 805-619-5011. Who is Chapter? What do they do? They're licensed Medicare experts. You may think you have the best plan, but Medicare, what do we cover here? Waste, fraud, abuse. It's a tough system to get through. They go out and find all the options available to you, present them back to you, and you make the final decision. The average person who calls Chapter saves $1,100 a year. You see, I'm not only here to provide the news, I'm here to provide you ways to potentially save money. And that's one free phone call to 805-619-5011. 805-619-5011. What does it hurt? You trust me for truth, trust me on this. Give them a shot, give them a call. No bots, real people on the other side of the phone. Because in a system that's designed to take from you, it's time to take something back. Make that phone call 100% free. Now let's get back to this broadcast. So what did I see right before I went to bed? I saw this. Happy birthday to Senator Lindsey Graham. He is always there when I need him, and I hope everyone in the great state of South Carolina will help Lindsey have a big win in his re-election bid next year. President Trump just endorsed Lindsey Graham. We were promised that the system would change. And what does he do? He endorses Lindsey Graham? Not okay. Why is he taking the system that he committed to us, that we gave him our votes, and re-engaging it again? Folks, I did not understand this. I still don't understand this. I look forward to your comments below. Do you agree with President Trump's endorsement of Lindsey Graham? Yes or no? I can't. I am shell-shocked. Trump's entire MAGA movement was sold to the public as a complete break from the political establishment of both the Republican and the Democrat parties. His endorsement of people like Lindsey Graham is a total betrayal of his base. And I implicitly agree with that statement. And these are principles that Trump proclaimed to us and why he received the votes he did and why he received the mandate for change. This is a huge step backwards. Now, maybe it makes sense why suddenly he's sending weapons to Ukraine, because who was the one that went out there with Zelensky all chummy? Lindsey freaking Graham. I'm beside myself. But we're going to stay. Some other facts here. Some eye-opening facts. Lisa covered this yesterday on her broadcast. I hope you saw it. A portion of this. Tim Burkett. Now, why wouldn't I cover Tim Burkett? Because Tim Burkett said some great things. I think the files existed at one time. Once he says, I think, I'm not going to cover it generally. And here's why. Because there's no facts behind that. I think is a statement. Great. I want facts. So I'm going to go into case law just a little bit, but it doesn't take that long. Actually, this video is going to be rather short. But I want to get through some background first. Listen here, Gash Patel.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Boy, things have changed, huh? That was pretty blunt, pretty black and white. Now, I think what they're doing here is they're playing a little game of words. List. A list means many things. If you're looking for a documented list in a black book with simple names written on it, number 1 through 50, you're probably looking in the wrong direction. You are looking for a documented paper trail. And in that paper trail would be a list of people potentially associated. Now, there's an argument out there that some would be innocent. I get that. I get that. But because of that, you're simply not going to put anything out? When we know now through multiple sources that it exists, the information exists. Now, Trump, somewhat, if you listen to him, has told you in many ways, well, listen in here.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
And there you had it. The first indication, there's a lot of phony stuff. A lot of rumored people in there. Rumors that Alan Dershowitz is in there. Rumors that Steve Bannon's in there. Rumors that even President Trump is in there. So did that affect the decision? You heard him already indicate it. So it's not something necessarily 100% new. Listen to what Bill O'Reilly stated.
President Trump, man to man, eye to eye, on St. Patrick's Day about this and the Kennedy files and the King files. It was all one conversation. And he said, and I agree, there are a lot of names associated with Epstein that had nothing to do with Epstein's conduct. They maybe had lunch with him or maybe had some correspondence for one thing or another. If that name gets out, those people are destroyed.
Two references. Bill O'Reilly stating absolutely there's names. So the information exists. There should be no doubt of that. Too many sources, too many people. This is the portion that Lisa played yesterday.
I have seen, remember, I was accused falsely on the Epstein, and ultimately I was completely cleared. The woman admitted that she may have mistook me for somebody else and withdrew all of her lawsuits. And so from day one, from the day I was accused, I said I want every document out because I knew every document would prove I was innocent. So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality.
So there's another source. Again, there's names. We know that. I can't prove it to you enough. To not take that as fact at this point would be rather short-sighted. Now people are saying that maybe they were destroyed. Listen in here.
The FBI director, Kash Patel or the Deputy Director, Dan Bongino. I think that that layer beneath them, that's part of what we like to call the deep state, has taken this bull by the horns, and they've probably destroyed information. Look at what the CIA did.
Okay, a lot of talking heads. A lot of, guesses, maybe. But that's not how we operate here. I don't operate on guesses and maybe. I operate on statements. This was the statement that started all this firestorm. To ensure that the review was thorough, the FBI conducted digital searches of all databases, hard drives, networks, drives, physical searches. Why am I rereading this? It will make sense in a moment. I'm not going to reread all of it. So they go through all the data. Over 10,000 downloaded videos and images of illegal activity, child activity. Okay, we don't want that out. But if you read this document, that's all they're focusing on. Is that nothing else exists. Aim of providing as much information as possible to the public while simultaneously protecting the victims. Much of the material is subject to court order sealing. Only a fraction of this material would have been aired publicly. A fraction. Small amount. Nothing there. As the seals served only to protect victims, again, back to the victims, and do not expose any third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Push that aside. Through this review, we found no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials and will not permit the release of course, child pornography. No one ever should. The systematic review revealed no incriminating client list, in quotes. You see, they're playing word games there. There's no exact list. There's no 1 through 50 with a list of people. No. There may be documents with people's name on it, but it's not a client list, quote, unquote. No credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. How can anybody put that in there? He just accumulated this wealth magically. Of course, it's what we're to believe, right? But again, factual basis. To the end, while we have labored to provide the public with maximum information regarding Epstein and ensured examination of any evidence in the government's possession, it is the determination of the Department of Justice and the FBI that no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. We're done. Except your court documents don't state that. Sorry, Cash. Sorry, Pam. It's just, facts are facts. You think I'm just going to let my audience not understand simple court documents? Judicial Watch. Justice Department reports to court is reviewing FBI and DOJ Epstein records for possible release. Wait now. That's contrary to what they just announced to the American public. Of course, I'm not going to take a headline. I'm going to go into the document. Remember, the FBI said, we're done. All done. All analysis finished. Nothing here. Except in your court document, filed 7/7 of 2025, keeping everything current here. Any and all Epstein records. The FBI has run its initial searches and is in the process of reviewing those search results. They magically finished them suddenly in 2 days. All done. Communications of Director Patel regarding Epstein's client list. The FBI search efforts are ongoing. Okay, folks. Real black and white here. You just looked in the face of every single American and said, we're done, nothing else to see here. But in a court filing, you're saying the contrary. Search efforts are ongoing. Which is it? Just wondering. There's no statute of limitations on these charges, by the way. What did Kash Patel say? You got to put on your big boy pants? Hey, Kash, Bongino, Bondi, why don't you put on your big boy pants? Come on, man. This is rookie stuff you're doing here. Initial search efforts are ongoing. This is the Executive Office of United States Attorneys. Initial search efforts are ongoing. Filed 7/7. Does not yet anticipate number of documents or anticipated dates for release. Man, what happened over 24 to 48 hours, huh? You went from this filing all the way to saying everything's done, everything's been searched, we've seen everything. Sorry, not sorry, folks. Not to Bondi, not to Patel, not to Trump, not to Bongino. This is the facts. I'm not going to allow you to gaslight my audience. We wouldn't allow the Democrats to do it, and I won't allow the Republicans to do it. Because suddenly, millions of documents, this was in Maxwell's filing, they're all done. Or this memo. Another case, by the way, this one a little bit older, remind you. 11,571 pages, went up to 1,000,000 pages, then went up to a current lawsuit of which we are still reviewing, all the way to a letter published by the DOJ that says we're done. Folks, come on. If anyone's presented to you more black and white than that, please put it in the comments below. A lot of people don't know this exists because it's not presented to them. You know here, I'm always going to present you the facts. Plain and simple. Because that is what you deserve. Why is Trump doing this? And he wonders why now. The Washington Post, who is best friends with Bezos, right, suddenly publishes an article by a clown. Literally. Donald Trump is not a clown. I should know, because I am a clown. Mocking President Trump. Everything is changing. That's why none of this is okay. You can't burn down what we voted you in for. You can't take the very cornerstones of what we requested and push them aside like they don't exist and then play us for fools. Don't gaslight me. Don't gaslight my audience. And folks, I'm sorry if you don't like that, and I know it's hard to hear. Trust me, it's hard to consume before I go to bed. It keeps me awake all night. To know I have to report on this the next day. But to not is irresponsible, and I'd just be simply part of the damn machine that we all fight against every day. I love you too much for that. I respect you too much for that. There's black and white court documents proving the exact opposite of what the DOJ, the administration, and Kash Patel just told you. I love you all. I hope you appreciate this. I really do. You put your ass on a line when you put out broadcasts like this, but it's what I committed to you in the very beginning, and I committed to myself when I started this career. I hope you put in the comments below you respect that. And if you don't, put it in the comments below. I love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless Justice Knight. Signing out.